Welcome into the college show powered by Dynasty Nerds. This is our second show here, and that's still not even our official name, but I'm going to keep saying it until someone tells me not to. So I'm back with my good friend and longtime Talking Dynasty host, Jared Wackerly. Jared, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I was like, oh, we're calling it the college show. It's pretty original and unique.
I just keep saying it until someone tells me I shouldn't say it anymore.
It works.
It's good for SEO. You know, you just type in college football and it'll pop up. There you go.
There we go. I mean, I'm basically an SEO genius. This is what I'm learning. And then we've got a guy that you guys are probably familiar with now. He's been all over our stuff at Dynasty Nerds. Andrew Ma, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Excited to jump into this. It's just like this time of the year is just like scratching the surface for me. So getting familiar with these guys just like everybody else.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to say. I said it in the quarterback show that we did a couple weeks ago, but I want to make sure I say it here as well. This in no way, shape, or form is our final rankings. In fact, I have a feeling that there are at least half of these guys in my top 10 that won't be come the time that I need to do my top 10 once the season is over. And there's some of these guys that might not even declare. So these are just 2026 eligible running backs, but there's nothing to say that they might not go back to school, especially with NIL stuff and whatnot now. That is definitely very, very possible. But I do think there's some interesting names, but honestly, similar to Jared when we did the quarterback class, overall, I'm feeling very whelmed. Not overwhelmed, not underwhelmed, just kind of whelmed.
Especially with the start to the season for some of these guys, it's been like a slow start, you know, like that, not what we were expecting. So
it's not Ashton Jeanty last year coming out and having, what did he have, like 300 yards and 7 touchdowns or something absurd? I don't remember what it was.
Right. Yeah. No, like none of that. And to be honest, like there's no like guys that were feeling super good about like coming into this class for I don't know, like almost any position really. I know we're going to talk.
Seems like a down class, man. Andrew, do you feel the same way? Like overall, this class doesn't like get me hyped like I have remembered being in previous seasons.
Yeah, and you know, I keep trying to tell myself too that we still have a whole college season to get through. Like the guys are going to perform better and it'll iron itself out over time, but I will say we got spoiled last year with that running back class, Henderson, Judkins, Jeanty, like all of those guys. And so when you go and look at a class like this one, not that it's bad, I still think that there's some good players at the top of it, but it feels like it tears off very quickly in this class.
Yeah, I definitely feel
for sure.
That way.
Like I'm like slopping together this list. You know, it's like here's 10 names that I feel good about, like decent about, but like these are all going to get rearranged like heavily as the season goes on, and we'll keep revisiting this list.
See a totally different order, basically starting at 3 for me, like 3 to 10. It's all could be switched out, I think, pretty much.
Yep.
And honestly, even Jared and I were texting a little bit yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised, and this is going to sound like very anti this class and probably too much, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have like 3 or less running backs that are day 2 or better. Like, I don't think we're going to have a 6, 7, 8 type of, top 3 round type guys. Like, I think we'll get 1 or 2. Like, I don't see a ton that are going to happen.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yep. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it now that we've gotten you super excited about this episode, about how amazing this is going to be. All that being said, there is still plenty of time for guys to emerge and become household names very soon. So, Andrew, let's start off with you here. Why don't you give me your 10 through 6? What running backs do you have in that order?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at my list, like I said, at this point in time, it's just a list of names that I'm watching.
Yep.
But number 10, CJ Baxter from Texas. I got number 9, Le'Veon Moss from Texas A&M. 8 is Kaytron Allen from Penn State. 7 is Quinten Joyner from Texas Tech. And my 6th guy is Makhi Hughes from Oregon.
Okay. All right. So we definitely have some overlap there. I have a few of those names as well. But, Jared, give me your 10 through 6.
Can I can I start with some names that I have outside of my 10
absolutely.
that like I'm still watching?
Okay.
I mean, obviously going to be watching. There's going to be still guys that are not even on.
40 guys we watch.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But like Raleek Brown has looked good for Arizona State. He's not my top 10. And even Kyson Brown, who's also at Arizona State. I think he got banged up last game. CJ Baxter, who Andrew mentioned.
I drafted Udo thinking he was going to be the guy in a C2C league. And I'm like, well, just kidding.
Yeah. And CJ Baxter, Andrew mentioned him. I could see him easily climbing into the top 10 just due to his pedigree and his recruiting profile and just the kind of athlete he is. But he was injured last year, and he looked good in the Ohio State game, even though they weren't scoring many points. I mean, that defense is amazing. Jam Miller from Bama, I don't have my top 10. Jaden Ott and TreVeyon Stewart, who transferred from Bowling Green to Virginia Tech. I'm watching him. I like him a lot, but he was banged up to start the year, so I can't really say anything about him yet. He only had a few carries last game. All right, so getting into the 10 here, I just wanted to throw out those other names there.
Yeah, for sure.
Makhi Hughes for Oregon, Tulane transfer. Trey Wisner for Texas. Jamal Haynes, Georgia Tech. Kaytron Allen, Penn State. And then Darius Taylor from Minnesota. I think, that's it then.
All right, so I have, between the two of you guys, 3 of the 5 that you guys have mentioned in some order are inside my top 5. I do have 2 names that neither one of you mentioned inside of my top 10, which means either I am a running back whisperer or I am way too high on a couple players. So I guess we'll find out which it is.
That's what we're here for this early in the year. It's all good.
Exactly. So I have Darius Taylor out of Minnesota. I have him at 10. Kaytron Allen at 9. At 8, I have the Damian Martinez replacement, Mark Fletcher from the U. I have him in there, big physical bruising back there. At 7, I have CJ Baxter. And then at 6, I do you guys ever do this where I know, Jared, I know you do because you text me when you do this, but do you guys ever start to go down a rabbit hole and you're like, man, I like this guy more than other people, I think. That's my number 6 guy, Dante Dowdell.
Okay.
From the University of Kentucky. He's a guy that's transferred 3 times. He was at Oregon, then he was at Nebraska. Now he's at Kentucky. But watching him big back with some good speed. So definitely interested, and we'll talk about him in just a little bit here. So we all have slightly different lists. Jared, I know you mentioned, I don't think you put him inside your top 10. Jaden Ott's a guy I've liked a lot over the years, and I really wanted to get him in. But with the injury, it was really difficult for me to be able to include him in the list, but really, really wanted to. So Andrew, remind me again, who were your 10 through 6?
Yeah, I had CJ Baxter, Le'Veon Moss, Kaytron Allen, Quinten Joyner, and Makhi Hughes. Those are my 10 through 6.
So let's talk about CJ Baxter real quick. A guy that, Jared, I think he just missed the cut for you, but you did have Wisner in there. And let's talk about both of these Texas running backs. I know CJ Baxter is the name that if you're following the incoming rookie or freshman classes, he's obviously a very familiar name. Big time recruit, big time name, was getting some opportunity early, but then he had that significant injury. And that's always one of the most tricky things to figure out is sometimes guys have these significant college injuries and they're never the same. And then other guys are Nick Chubb and they have a significant college injury and somehow they seem even better at the NFL level. So it's kind of hard to figure out some of these players. So for you, Andrew, when you were looking at CJ Baxter, what about him intrigues you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is he just has that prototypical size, 6'1", 218. The pedigree, like you said, being a 5-star recruit, the top running back in that 2023 class, that's a guy just already that I'm intrigued in just based off of that pedigree. The fact that he was the first freshman starter for Texas since Ricky Williams, and no, it's not that Ricky Williams, but it was still the first freshman starter for Texas. And he had a pretty decent season overall, 659 yards, 5 touchdowns, 24 receptions. Just put stuff together that early on, you don't typically see that from those running backs. It's hard for freshman running backs to come in and make impacts immediately. And on top of all of that, I think he's just a strong runner between the tackles. He has good balance. I think he's a natural pass catcher. These traits that you want to see out of a guy who can become a weapon at the next level for fantasy football teams, a PPR guy, those are just kind of the things that stuck out on tape for me a little bit. Obviously, you mentioned the injury, the LCL, the PCL knee injury that he had there in 2024. That was obviously something that I think is of concern, maybe some durability concerns for him moving forward. But I'm just excited kind of to see how that translates now that he's cleared, he's healthy for 2025, and see how he stacks that here this season.
Absolutely. Now, Jared, you have the other Texas running back, Wisner, inside of your top 10. And I know you don't love him, but you do seem to like him just as much, if not maybe even a little bit more than Baxter.
And that's just at this point right now. Like I could see Baxter. I think Baxter just has a little more juice in his game, and he has better size too. Like Trey Wisner is only 195 pounds, and then like Andrew said, Baxter's at 218, which is ideal. And I think he's a little more explosive than Wisner. It was more so just Baxter's. I just want to see it still this year before I move him up. But Wisner, I mean, every time I've watched Texas, he stands out to me, and I think he's extremely tough. I think he is able to find the running lanes very well, so I think he has really good vision too. The size is a little bit worrisome. I think he can work on his elusiveness a little bit, but extremely good pass catcher. He caught 44 passes last year, which is really good. He's the only returning guy in the SEC that ran for 1,000 yards last year. So it's not a name that like you knew of when he was coming into Texas. Like, you're talking about CJ Baxter, like everyone's hyped up about him, but when Baxter went down, he stepped in and did a good job. So I liked what I've seen. I don't love him, like you said, but I think he's at this point worthy of being in the top 10.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I could see both of these guys being in the mix. We've seen that in previous years where you have not one, but two guys from the same backfield that are relevant. Most recently we had Roschon Johnson, and obviously Bijan Robinson was the bigger name of the two. But you see this very often. And that leads me to another tandem where I'm assuming for the most part we'll get to the other guy, but Kaytron Allen. I had Kaytron Allen as my 9th rated running back in this group. And he's somebody that I think could rise for me because I was watching some tape, not a lot, but I've been watching some tape on him, looking at what he does. And he seems to be a really intelligent runner. Seems to be like a player that sees the field well, finds the open hole well, and at times almost looks better than the big name running back in the backfield, Nick Singleton. So he's somebody that I am kind of interested in as far as what is he going to be at the next level? What is he going to do? I don't know that he's quite the athlete that a Nick Singleton is, and that's the one thing that's going to maybe hold him back a little bit. But he is a player that I like guys that do things right. And he's just one of those players that does a lot of things right. Did both of you guys have him in your top 10s?
Yeah, I had him at 6. Yep.
Okay. I had him at 8.
Okay, perfect. So you guys both had him. Jared, tell me why he's creeping up into your top 5.
Did you see his pass pro?
I caught a couple glimpses of it, but I didn't see much.
I thought that would stick out to you for sure.
I do love a good pass pro.
Yeah, he's real good in pass pro, and I mean he's a load. He's almost 230 pounds. I guess his reported 40-yard dash is 4.6, which is good for that size. I mean, it's real good. I mean I think the weight adjusted speed score is around like 70 percentile or something.
What do you have him listed at weight wise? Like 230? That's what I've been seeing.
Yeah, I had 5'11", 230.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I had 5'11", 229. So right, the same thing.
Okay. Perfect. I might have rounded up.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, I mean, the dude he's a grinder, and I could see him at the next level being like a 1B in a backfield, I don't think he'll ever be the guy just because he lacks like the explosiveness and the playmaking ability, but he's just a solid guy that you're going to be able to rely on in your backfield and in your running back room. So no, I like him for sure. Nice. What about you, Andrew?
I mean, I kind of saw the same things you guys are talking about. Like when I have my strengths and weaknesses for him, I thought it was a patient runner. I thought he's a guy who has good vision. He's a decisive one-cut type of guy that's just going to get upfield. Obviously, the weight it does tend to have him be a little bit more of like this powerful running back that's going to be a early down grinder. I think probably at the next level, one of those dependable guys that you can just give the workload to early on. I also saw that lack of the long speed. He just doesn't feel like he's a great athlete. It feels like he's often getting caught from behind. And I think he's a little bit limited as a receiver too. So in fantasy, when you're looking for guys who can get you that PPR appeal, guys who can catch passes out of the backfield, that's not going to be Kaytron Allen at the next level unless he really works and involves that part of his game.
Yeah, another guy that kind of is a similar type player. I don't think he's got quite the weight to him that Kaytron Allen has, but Darius Taylor. I had Darius Taylor at 10. Andrew, where'd you put him? Did he make your top 10?
I have him I have him 5.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I had him 6. I had Allen at 7. My bad. I had Taylor at 6.
Okay, so you guys have Darius Taylor even higher than I do. This is a kid
Where'd
from
you
Minnesota.
say you have him?
I have him at 10.
Okay.
I have him at 10. So he just made the cut for me. But he profiles as a similar type of player for me. I don't think he's going to be like blazing in the 40. I think he's a little bit better pass catcher than what we get out of Kaytron Allen. But I still don't think I still don't think it's going to be like, oh, this is a weapon in the receiving game. But I do think he's a more natural catcher of the football. But I love his contact balance. I think that's the thing that I keep coming back to with Darius Taylor is he's somebody that just can take a hit and keep on trucking. But once again, I just don't know that he's athlete enough, especially as not being a huge back. He's listed at 215. I don't know that he's actually 215. I'd be interested to see.
Yeah, he came in at like 195 or something to college. I guess he's supposedly put on a bunch of weight, but
I have him at 210. So it's probably all over the place.
Yeah, and that is the hard part with some of these college guys is getting the measurables.
We'll see at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, we'll see at the Senior Bowl. But he plays like a bigger back. But I don't know that he's actually got the size and frame of a bigger back, which can be a little bit concerning at the next level sometimes. So I like that. I like a guy that can do that. But I just worry about is he athlete enough for the next level? That's what I don't know.
Yeah,
sorry. I was just about to say he just got hurt this past year. I mean, this past game, like he's been hurt every year in his college career with the hamstring injuries, and the same thing just popped up last week. But go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean the durability is a concern I think with him, but he's another player too. Like I do think Garrett, he does have that elite contact balance that you want to see out of like those top end guys, and I think a lot of that stems from he's a guy who has like a wrestling background, and I know he's accredited that to his contact balance is being able to have that agility and have some of that balance there. This is also another guy too that has been productive since his freshman year. He's just a producer at Minnesota. So he's a player that I liked. I think he's a natural receiver, actually. I think you're a little bit discrediting him in the receiving game. I think he's a little bit more of a weapon there and a guy that could be in the right situation. It's going to have to be the right scheme fit at the next level, but be a 3-down guy for the right team. So I definitely like him a little bit more than you do, especially in the receiving game. But there is lack of long speed there. There's lack of athleticism. I think he's still a little bit raw as a route runner, even though he has the right hands. But overall, he's a good, not great running back, but I think he's good enough that he's going to be relevant at the NFL level.
He just kind of has like a weird running style. I don't know. It's like, I don't know how to put like words to it. It's just kind of different. Like it's just not like he doesn't look like a natural running back at times, but I'm not saying like, I like him too.
Sure.
And yeah, he caught 54 passes last year and set a Minnesota school record. So yeah, he's definitely a good receiver. Garrett, did you say you didn't like his receiving ability?
No, I said I think he's a better pass catcher than Kaytron Allen. I don't think he's a weapon in the receiving game, but I think he's a good pass catcher.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's a solid back. Hopefully he can stay, like, I don't know, man. Hopefully he can get back on the field and stay healthy this year because I'd love to see more tape of him.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm gonna get to the guy that I kind of pulled out of left field a little bit here, Dante Dowdell. So this is a running back out of Kentucky. Started off his career at Oregon, then went to Nebraska. Now he's here. So there's not a ton of tape on this kid, but from what I've seen, I've really, really liked. He did see a little bit of time at Oregon, played as a true freshman, but just a couple carries here and there. He had like 17 attempts or something like that. So nothing crazy, but he was at least seeing the field. 4-star recruit. But what I really love is his size. 6'2", 225. So I mean, this is a big dude, and watching him play, he has some good long speed. So for a guy that is as big and physical as he is, and he's a very physical player, which is near and dear to my heart. I love a guy that's going to be willing to run over a defender, and that's definitely his play style. But he has good long speed, and I think can at times outrun defenders, which you wouldn't necessarily expect out of a guy that's, 225, 230 pounds. That's not something you would always see out of a player like that. So I think when you look at the frame and his potential upside, and now he's going to be playing in the SEC, which we know I love when guys are playing either in the SEC or the Big Ten, because those are the best defenses they're going to see. It's the closest thing to NFL linebackers and DBs that they're going to get at the college game. So he's one where he could move drastically either way for me. But it is right now on the upside and the potential that I think he has that makes him pretty interesting to me. Have you guys even glanced at this kid yet? It wouldn't surprise me if you hadn't. But have you guys even looked at him at all?
Didn't even have him on my list. So
okay.
I am going to add him to the list and check him out for sure.
Nice.
We need to make sure he's on that film list that Cooper's going to break down, or he's going to they have a meeting tonight. Yeah, on the film room.
Add it.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying add it. Any other players in your bottom 5 here, which that we have not covered that you guys want to touch on? Go ahead, Jared.
I had another guy that's kind of off the cuff that I don't think many people have on their radar is Jamal Haynes from Georgia Tech. He started off as a wide receiver there and didn't really get much burn his first couple years, and then he transitioned to running back. And he was his first year playing running back, he eclipsed 1,000 yards. He was Georgia Tech's first 1,000-yard rusher since 2017. Really, really electric player out of the backfield. So he's a really good space player, satellite back. I could see him possibly being like a PPR type player in the NFL. He's only 5'9", 190 pounds, so he's not huge, but I really like his contact balance for his size, and he's really good at making people miss. He finds the holes really well. He's a patient runner, so I think he obviously found his niche playing running back. So they play Clemson this week, so I'm interested to see how he does in that game. But you should definitely check out Jamal Haynes if you haven't.
And that's becoming more and more common where we see these wide receivers transitioning to running back. Last year we had Brashard Smith. The year before that, Tyrone Tracy.
Clemson has one, Adam Randall.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. So it's becoming more and more common. We saw Tyreek Hill go the other way. But you definitely have that. Andrew, any other guys that you have in your list that you want to make sure that we touch on real quick?
Well, I'm curious. Did you guys have Quinten Joyner at all on your guys' list?
I had him off my list because he's out for the year. He just got hurt.
That kid, right?
Yeah. Yep. USC transfer, but I figured he's probably going to come back next year, so I didn't. But tell us about him.
Yeah, no, I liked when I was looking at the tape. Obviously, a lot of the tape that we had to see was the USC tape. He's a transfer from there, but it's a 4-star kid who 6 foot, 216 pounds, had nearly 5,000 high school rushing yards. Transferred over to Texas Tech to be the lead back to take over from Taj Brooks there. Just feel like he's a very well-rounded running back. I think he has this rare size and speed combo that we like to see from guys. He's a guy that has really good contact balance as well. I think he's a legit breakaway threat, like a guy who can take it to the house at any point. And we saw him do that last year at USC when he took a 75-yard touchdown to the house against Penn State. And that's one of the best defenses in college football, or was one of the better defenses in college football. And I just feel like this is a player that, like you said, he's injured now, so it may have changed since the time that I've built this list out, but he's a player that has traits that I think translate well once you get into the NFL. And when you have that home run ability, those are the guys that you want because they can get out there and score points for you in a heartbeat. So I just liked his tape. I thought he was a really well-rounded running back, a guy who had some value or could bring value to an NFL team, and probably needs to improve a little bit in the receiving game. But other than that, I thought he was well rounded.
All right, well, let's get into our.
Did we talk about Makhi Hughes?
We will.
Or do you guys have? Okay.
I have him in my top 5, so we will.
Okay.
I promise. Hey, Nerd Herd, want to tell you about a show that we've been doing live on YouTube where we go over your teams and we talk about how to fix your broken roster. It's called Roster Rescue. We do it live every single Monday at noon Eastern time. And if you want to get a part of that, just head to our Dynasty Nerds homepage, go under the store tab, and you'll find Roster Rescue right there. Perfect opportunity to get your rosters in shape before the season or even in the middle of the season to make sure that you can win a championship. So let's get to our top 5s here. Jared, why don't you give us 5 through 1 for you?
So I got Damon Claiborne from Wake Forest at 5. I got Nick Singleton at 4, Jonah Coleman at 3, Justice Haynes at 2, and then Jeremiyah Love at 1.
Okay, we are very, very similar overall inside of our top 5. Andrew, what do you have?
Yeah, I have Darius Taylor at 5, Justice Haynes at 4, Coleman at 3, Nick Singleton at 2, and Jeremiyah Love at 1.
All right, so we'll definitely have a lot to talk about there because at 5, I have Makhi Hughes. At 4, Justice Haynes. 3, Nick Singleton. 2, Jonah Coleman. And 1, Jeremiyah Love. So a lot of similar names there inside, specifically the top 4. Let's touch on Makhi Hughes real quickly. Makhi Hughes was a guy that I really was interested in this offseason. I actually watched a decent amount of his tape. I had a former Tulane running back that I really liked in Tyjae Spears. I was like, here we go. We got another one. And then he decides to transfer to Oregon. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Oregon, like that's a great opportunity for him. So far this year, though, it's been a little surprising and not in a good way. He just has not gotten a lot of touches. And I was reading up on the interview with their head coach, and he's like, he would have gotten more touches, but we have a lot of good running backs. And a lot of the plays that he was out there, they audibled to a pass play when he was going to get the ball. And it was just kind of a weird situation. So we'll see. I definitely have one eyebrow raised. Is it one of those situations where, you know, a guy looks really good against lower competition and then steps up to a bigger school and maybe he's not quite what we thought. So I am a little worried about that, but I loved the contact balance that I saw. Absolutely loved the contact balance that I saw at Tulane. I thought he had a chance to be a very, very nice back at the next level. Not a huge kid. I'm guessing he'll probably be a 205 to 210 type of running back when he weighs in at the combine, assuming he comes out. But he does a lot of things well. I think he's a good pass catcher of the football. Like I liked what I saw out of him, but I want to let college football tell me what they think before I make my decision. And if he's not getting the run and playing time, he'll drop completely off my top 10 list. What do you guys think? Andrew, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I mean, just echoing a lot of what you said, I saw a lot of the same things. It's just an angry runner of the football. I think he's like a tone setter at the running back position for your team. And I thought he had some pretty good vision, especially like when he was making cutbacks and things like that. So player that I really liked on tape, he came in as 6 for me. I did knock him down my board a little bit because of the shaky start here at Oregon. That is just something to me that's it's a yellow flag. It's something that I'm looking at, and I'm definitely, like you said, eyebrow raised. But 2023 was undisputedly great tape that I saw from him. A Doak Walker semifinalist. Like that's the type of season that he had: 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns in 2024, and just a really good player. I liked what I saw.
Yeah, and he just might need some time coming into a new place where, like, Noah Whittington's been kind of they've had a rotating backfield there. It's not like anybody's getting a ton of carries, but Whittington seems to be the guy right now. I know he's the one of the leaders of that team, so it's tough to come into a Power 4 team such as Oregon and just, you know, displace a leader in the locker room. You know, a guy he's producing too, Whittington. So I was definitely expecting Hughes to take that job, but no, I'm right there with you guys with the evaluation. I have him down at 10 because of all of this, but yeah, we'll see how the season plays out.
Definitely a guy that could move up or down my board drastically, depending on how these next few weeks go for him. Let's get to Justice Haynes, a guy that was originally at Alabama, now transfers to Michigan. Andrew, what are you seeing on tape with him that you like?
Yeah, I think he's just very decisive. I think he has good vision. We've talked about contact balance. This is another one of those guys that has elite contact balance. He's very quick with the change of direction. I think he has natural hands as a receiver, has burst. Like, these are traits, physical traits that you don't teach for the most part. Like, these are physically gifted traits. So I like that. I also like the fact that he's the son of an ex NFL running back. Like, that is in the pedigree, the bloodline. It's there. He's already been, had a dad that's been in the NFL. Playing at these big schools, Alabama, Michigan, still being productive, being a high school guy who is super productive, putting up 75,000 or 7,500 yards, not 75,000. Could you imagine?
Wow.
But yeah, just a guy that I feel like is very, very skilled. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him move up my rankings a little bit more. Right now, he's currently sitting as my RB4. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him get up there a little bit higher.
I have him 4 as well. Jared, you had him at 2, I believe, right?
I have him at 2. Admittedly, I've loved this kid since like coming out of high school, like for campus to Canton leagues that I'm in and stuff. Like, I loved his film. Like, I don't break down high school film like I do for college, but I'll check out their huddle accounts and stuff. And when I get bored, I like this kid. And I thought this was like one of the smartest transfers of the year, going to a place like Michigan where he can actually be the guy and escape the rotating backfield that they have there in Bama. And through the first 2 weeks, I mean, he's been amazing. Like, he came in, had 160 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in the first game. And then last week versus Oklahoma, another 125 yards and a touchdown. So he's looked the part and the guy that I thought he was this year. He's got the size, he's got the feet, he breaks tackles very well, great contact balance. He can take it to the house. So if he just keeps this up, like he'll be one of my top backs in this class for sure.
Let's move on to Nick Singleton. We touched on him briefly when we talked about Kaytron Allen, but this is arguably the biggest name that people are going to recognize in this class other than Jeremiyah Love. He's a guy that we thought was going to probably come out last season, decided to go back for one more year, former number 1 overall player at his position. So a guy that has the pedigree. And when you want to like cook a guy up in a lab, he's 6 foot tall. He's 227. Like, that's perfect. 40 time.
4.3 speed.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Like, he could run a sub 4.4. So when you're just solely evaluating on that, you're like, I have him at 3. And it's like, you guys are talking about this not being a great class. Like, this guy should be great. Like right now, and this is so early, and I don't want to be doom and gloom and overly negative, but like right now, I'm not fully convinced he's a day 2 guy because there's some real limitations in his game outside of his athletic ability. He is a great athlete. I don't know that he is a great running back. And that's the thing that I'm worried about. I think he has some limited vision. I don't think his vision's real great. When it's a clear design, he finds it, but you're seeing sometime on those zone runs where he misses the hole sometimes on those zone runs. The man stuff, the gap stuff, he sees it. I mean, it's designed. This is where you go, and it works. So I do have some questions a little bit about his vision at the next level. I do think that he's not a great pass catcher either. So do we have the 3 down threat that we might have with some other players? So he is probably the biggest boom bust guy in this class for me, because is there a path for him to be a special running back? Absolutely. Is there a path for him to just be another one of those Abanikanda type guys? And it's just like, just didn't work out.
That's a little harsh, dude.
Maybe, but that happens all the time. Yeah. It happens all the time.
Which is why he had the recruiting pedigree that he did. Like, that's how these kids get that. Like, they're just elite athletes. Yeah. I thought he was a little better pass catcher than what you're giving him credit for. I mean, 41 catches last year. And I saw him make some one-handed grabs, and like they use him as a pass catcher pretty often. So, because they have to. Kaytron Allen's the other guy, but I think he's a pretty good Pretty good pass catcher. Definitely an elite athlete. It's the contact balance for me that I think he struggles with, which is huge in my evaluations at running back. Because once you get to the next level, dude, all these guys are fast and big, and it's hard to rely on your athleticism as a running back when you get to the next level. That's why we see some of these guys fail. So I'm right there with you, Garrett. I have him right now at 4. It's almost because it's like almost by default in a way, because he has produced, does have that pedigree.
Yep.
So what do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of the same. That's exactly what I was thinking when I watch him. It's like it's a player who clearly is an explosive athlete at the collegiate level, but you just worry that when you get to the next level and everybody's been an explosive athlete at the collegiate level, is it going to be the same thing? Because he is a guy that's kind of a one-cut, runner. I think he has tunnel vision sometimes when it's just like he predetermines the hole, tries to hit it. Like he just is a guy that I think has been very overly reliant on the athleticism. And I don't think he has a ton of wiggle to his game. I'd like to see him kind of get a little bit more wiggle to his game. But like you said, Garrett, 6 foot, 220, he's running a 4.3 or sub 4.4. Like it's also a guy who broke Saquon's squat record at Penn State, like when he came in. So like, obviously the physical stuff is there. I just really for lack of a new term for you guys, it is a boom bust pick. I think it's a guy that could come in here and the athleticism translates, or it doesn't and he becomes a little bit more average.
Yeah, he's going to be a really, really interesting one. Excited to see how he plays out. A guy that's been surprising me. The more tape I watched, the more I kept wanting to watch, and that was Jonah Coleman. Jonah Coleman's fun. He reminds me of a Doug Martin, where he's not this like tall dude, but man, is he thick, but has a lot more burst than I would have expected out of him, and like more wiggle than I expected out of him, and a better pass catcher than I expected out of him. Like every little thing I'm like, well, he's probably, oh, nope, he does that pretty well. Well, he's probably, oh, well, no, actually he does that pretty well. So there's a lot. Now, I still don't think he's a true like home run threat. We only have a few of those guys in this class. Like he's going to be limited in his true long speed, but I like his short area quickness quite a bit. I think it's there and he can make some guys miss. Jared, you're dying to say something. Do it.
I feel like he's like the opposite of what we were just talking about, Nick Singleton. Like
he kind of is.
Yeah, he like doesn't have that elite athleticism stuff. But then he's got all the other shit. He's got he navigates the shit very well. He's got good feet, makes people miss, breaks tackles really. Like he's 98th percentile in forced missed tackles per attempt.
Ridiculous.
Like he's a good running back. I have him at 3. What'd you think, Andrew? Where'd you have him at?
I have him at 3 too.
Okay,
and I have him at 2.
I just wrote in my notes, feels like James Conner-ish. Like that's in my notes. It feels like it's James Conner, a guy who's safe, reliable, has 3-down potential if he can improve a little bit in some of the pass pro and some of the other stuff. But I just had him reliable receiver, natural hands, sneaky burst, sneaky wiggle for his size. Like these are the things that stood out. And another thing that I think NFL coaches are going to like is the fact that he has 1 fumble on 396 touches. So he has been very, very good with the ball security. And obviously, like coaches, that's going to be the biggest thing is like, we want you to be reliable when we put the football in your hands. So I just thought he was a really, really good running back. I mean, he's coming off of a game. He wasn't playing really any good competition, but it seemed like he was putting the ball into the end zone damn near every time he touched the ball. So what was that against? You would know, Jared. UCF?
No, I forget. Was
it Wofford?
It was a low-end school, but he had like 5 touchdowns that game or something like that.
Yeah.
The one I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to the final guy. This is going to be somebody that everybody knows.
Hold on.
What?
I had a guy in here you guys didn't have in your top 10.
Who's that?
I was surprised, actually.
Claiborne?
Yeah, Damon Claiborne.
Okay.
He was on my list he was circled on my list of like, I needed to watch more of him, but he was a name that like, as I was doing my research, I saw the name floated around a couple times.
Dude, I saw a couple highlights come through over the last couple weeks, and then they played last night. Wake Forest did, so I I tuned into that one and watched some of that back this morning. And I saw Ray tweeting about Claiborne. So I was like, dude, I got to check him out because we're talking running backs today. And then, dude, like he surprised me. He's really, for lack of a better term, juicy. Like he's got elite speed and acceleration, and he can make you miss. Like you're talking about wiggle, like this guy has it. And he's like one of the first 1,000-yard rushers since 2018 for Wake Forest, which that was probably Kenneth Walker, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, man, I really liked Claiborne. He offers some good pass catching prowess. He lacks size. He's 5'10", 195, so doesn't have a ton of power or size. Probably needs to improve in the pass protection game, but true 3-phase threat at the running back position. So you guys should check him out.
The few things I've seen, it's just when I first initially saw some of the highlights and stuff, it's like his run style is wonky. Like he is hectic. He's a crazy runner, but I need to watch more. He looks insane when he's running.
When Garrett, I don't know if you remember I like Kenneth Walker when he was like a freshman or something at Wake Forest, and you know how they like their running backs. You know how they teach their running backs to be like almost weirdly patient behind the line of scrimmage.
Walk into
They're still doing that, yeah. But so he does that same thing. So I figured you would. When you turn on the tape of him, you're like, oh, I remember that running backs really always weird. Do this. Yeah. But it helps them for sure. But so he's a patient runner too.
Definitely excited to get into him. I know literally nothing about him, so I will definitely have to dig into him. But let's get to the guy that we all know and all love. So Jeremiyah Love. And I honestly didn't even do that on purpose, but that was pretty impressive.
And we all had him at 1.
But yes, we all had him as the number 1 guy. Not a big surprise. Had a great season last year. One of the, I feel like we've been a little bit of a broken record on most of these guys where like not long, doesn't have a great long speed, not a home run threat. No, this guy's a home run threat. Like this guy can hit the big plays. He can make guys miss in the open field. He is a well-rounded back. If there's a knock on him, he's maybe a little bit of a leaner running back. He's not as
got that James Starks build.
Yeah, he's just not not the bruiser that some of these other guys are. But he does a lot of the other things that you like. I know that he does have some concerns as far as he's coughed up the ball a little bit too much. But love him as a
hurdle everybody.
Yeah, right. He's like, I'm just better than you.
That's literally what I put in my notes. It's the ball security when hurtling. Like it feels like he's always like hurtling somebody.
I think he's got a track background, so maybe he did the hurdles. Who knows? But so what do you guys think? If this is the top back in this class, and overall, I think he's universally the number 1 for us. I think most places you're going to look and see he's going to be the number 1 guy for them as well. How does he stack up? If we're looking at him in last year's class, I don't think any of us would put him above Ashton Jeanty. Does he fall ahead of any of the Hamptons, Quinshons, Hendersons, or is he even after those guys?
I would have put him in that conversation. With those guys. I think he could go, depending on, landing spot and scheme fits and things like that. Like he could have went to where Hampton was going in that running back class, I think, for the most part. But I just think he's a player that, like, if I'm looking at this class critically today, obviously this is going to change over time. He's the only guy that I think has day 1 first round potential. He's the only guy that I think is a true weapon, like a real threat once he gets the football in his hands for an NFL offense. I put that in my notes as well as like the lean frame. Maybe there's some durability concerns. He did have a knee issue late in 2023, but he still set like a touchdown record for scoring in every single game in 2023. Just a guy that I think is truly, truly going to be a weapon. And he's not, I don't want to say Devon Achane, because Devon Achane is like different type of speed.
Yeah.
Love has track speed, but I think he could be like an Achane type of workload back at the next level where he's seeing that amount of touches and he's still able to have the PPR upside and the fantasy upside overall. Maybe a Kamara is a little bit of a better description.
Where'd you guys get the fumbling issue stuff? Because I had it in my notes that like ball security is one of his top like pros. But I tried to look it up, and he has 0 fumbles over the last 3 years. Is it one of those cases where he puts the ball on the ground, they just didn't lose it type of thing?
I think that's the case, because I remember seeing at least 2, and I read a report
during the college football playoffs. Are those the ones you're remembering, Garrett? I do too.
Because I was like, wait, hold on.
Because I was reading
about to talk about how ball security is great. Okay.
Draft Buzz, NFL Draft Buzz is where they mentioned it as well. I was gonna say I knew I read a scouting report somewhere that brought it up as well.
Okay, but it's officially, statistic wise, is 0 fumbles over his career so far. So,
yeah.
But no, I mean, like, yeah, Andrew, I think this kid could be a first round pick. Like he's one of the few in this draft class that's gets you excited for the draft. For your rookie draft picks. A guy you should be targeting. He's so explosive, man. Like he just does some freakish athletic things. And I know he's only 215, but I feel like he does run pretty hard and breaks tackles when he needs to.
If he's 215, I'll be thrilled. I have him at 206.
I have him at 206 as well.
Okay. PFF has 214. My notes I have 216, and ESPN is 214. So who knows? Yeah, like he doesn't look. He's definitely thin. Like
yeah.
So yeah,
I think
if he's
pretty good.
If he weighs in that like 210, 212 range, that's more than enough for me. Like I'll be thrilled. Because the way he plays at the next level is not going to be 20 carries right up the gut. Like that's just not how he's going to be used. Can he be an effective interior runner? Absolutely. He's got the skill set to do it. I just don't think that's the way he's best utilized. So we'll see what happens. But he's one of the few players that can actually be a real difference maker right now at the running back position, where other guys were like, well, we'll see what happens in their coming games, or gets more opportunity, or if he cleans up this or that. This is the guy where it's like, I don't need to see much else. He could take the rest of the season off, and I would say he's going to be one of, if not the top overall back taken, probably late day 1 or early day 2.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only guy for me that, like, obviously at this time of the year, nothing is cemented, but if anybody's going to be cemented, it's going to be Jeremiyah Love as RB1 in this class. And I fully expect that by the time rookie drafts come around and we're making selections with those rookie picks, this is a guy you're going to have to be using like a top 5 rookie pick on in 2026 if you want him on your teams.
Absolutely.
I agree. I feel pretty good about the top 3 I have on this board right now, like Love, Haynes, Coleman. Like just watching them for the limited games that I've seen so far, it's just like you could tell those guys they have something for the next level, for sure. But nothing like last year.
No. We got spoiled.
Yeah, that was one of the best. I mean, from a nerd score standpoint, Garrett, like we had, I forget what it was, but I mean, those got like top 4 or 5.
I had 3 guys score wise inside of my top 5 over was this year 6?
Yeah,
so right. I had 3 guys in the top 6, and I had 4 in the top 7 or something like that. So yeah, it was pretty absurd.
We were spoiled.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that wraps up this episode of the college football show that we've been doing here. Really been enjoying it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. Guys, we literally, I don't know if you're listening to this in podcast form or watching on YouTube. If you're listening to this in podcast form, know that we are going to literally have a podcast coming out every day of the week. That's right. 5 days a week. We will have an episode for you. But if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to please subscribe and like to what we're doing, because we have all kinds of stuff coming out that's coming to YouTube that's not going to be in the podcast form, that you guys are going to get live streams, different one-off videos. So all kinds of stuff coming out here. Any other notes or any other things you guys want to mention before we get out of here?
We got wide receivers next week, right?
Correct. Wide receivers next week.
And I probably won't be here for that, so it might be Andrew, Jagger, and you, right?
Me and Jagger,
I think both of them are going to be good to go. So unfortunate, we'll miss you, Jared. If you got time, though, give us your list. Next week, I might even average them all together, maybe, and see what like our composite average is. So go ahead and send that over, and we'll make sure that people know who you like.
Will do.
All right. Appreciate you guys. We will see you guys next time.
See ya.